AITA for telling my sister not to announce her pregnancy at my wedding, but she did it anyway and completely stole the spotlight on my big day. I, 29F, had waited years to walk down the aisle to the man I love, 31M, surrounded by people who mattered the most. It was supposed to be magical, unforgettable mine. What made it even more special was a little secret my husband and I were holding close. We were expecting. After months of hoping and praying, we'd finally gotten that positive test. We cried together, we laughed together, and we decided that the perfect time to tell our loved ones was during the wedding reception. We weren't going to make a grand scene, just a short, sweet moment during the speeches to share our joy with the people we loved most. Only a few people knew, my parents and my maid of honor. I trusted them. It was going to be our moment, something that made an already unforgettable day even more precious. But then, my sister, 32F, sat me down just weeks before the wedding. She smiled, looked a little nervous, and then dropped the news. She was pregnant too. And honestly, I was happy for her, truly. I hugged her, I told her how excited I was, and we had that special sister moment together. But then she hit me with something I didn't expect. "I'm going to announce it at your wedding," she said, like it was no big deal. I froze. I tried to stay calm, respectful, composed. I gently explained to her that I was also pregnant, and we were planning to share that news during the wedding. I asked her, begged her, really, if she could wait just a bit. Just let that one day be about the wedding. Let us have that one moment before she took the spotlight. She looked annoyed, but didn't push it. She said something vague like, "Okay, I get it," and I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. The wedding reception was going perfectly. Laughter, dancing, heartfelt speeches, everything we'd hoped for. And deep inside, I was holding on to that little moment I had been waiting for. The moment where I'd share with our closest family and friends the most beautiful news of our lives, that a new life was on the way. Then, it happened. Just as the speeches ended and I was preparing myself emotionally to stand up and share the news, I heard a clinking sound. The sound of a glass. Someone wanted to speak. It was her, my sister. She stood up, smiling, and in front of everyone, with a joyful voice, she announced, "I just want to share something special with everyone. I'm pregnant." And just like that, everything changed. People gasped, they cheered, they got up and surrounded her, hugging her, congratulating her. For the next 15 to 20 minutes, the whole energy in the room shifted. What was supposed to be our moment, something my husband and I had quietly planned for so long, had been taken without a second thought. I just sat there, stunned. I looked at my husband. He looked at me. We didn't even have to say anything. We both knew our time to share was gone. If I had stood up after that and said, "I'm pregnant too," it would have looked like I was trying to compete with her, like I was stealing her thunder, and I wasn't about to do that, even though she'd just done that to me. So we stayed quiet. My heart was breaking inside, not because she was pregnant, but because she knew how important that moment was to me. I had told her, I had trusted her, and she did it anyway. Later, I confronted her gently. I told her how I felt, how hurt I was, and she brushed it off. She said things like, "You're being dramatic. It's not a big deal. You're just trying to control everything. Why can't I be happy too?" But it wasn't about her being happy. It was about respect, about timing, About one day, just one, where I didn't have to compete for attention in my own life. She made it about herself. And now, every time I think about my wedding, all I can remember is how I felt. Small, pushed aside, forgotten. After the wedding, things got cold between us. Really cold. I tried not to let it eat me up. I told myself, it's done. Let it go. Focus on your baby, on your husband, on this new chapter of life. But every time I thought back to that day, I couldn't shake that feeling of betrayal. And the worst part? She acted like I was the problem. She kept playing the victim, saying I was jealous, that I was overreacting, that I was being petty. She actually said to my face, I didn't mean to steal your moment. I just couldn't hold it in anymore. And honestly, you should be happy for me instead of making everything about yourself. I couldn't believe it. I had been happy for her. I was happy for her. But now, it was like she couldn't even acknowledge that what she did was wrong. Not once did she apologize. Not once did she say, I understand why you're hurt. She just gaslit me into thinking I was being selfish. And when I turned to my parents for support, they agreed that what she did was out of line, but still said, you need to let it go for the sake of family peace. Family peace? Wasn't that her job too? Why was I the only one expected to be the bigger person? At that point, I realized if no one else was going to stand up for me, I had to stand up for myself. I distanced myself from her. I stopped texting first. I stopped engaging in conversations where I felt like I had to fake being okay. And when we saw each other at family dinners, it was polite, short, and surface level. No more heart-to-hearts, no more sisterly chats. My trust in her had been broken. Not just because she did what she did, but because she didn't care afterward. And I'll be honest, there were moments I wanted to scream. Why is it always the one who gets hurt who has to be the one to forgive? Why is it always the people who try to keep peace who are told to shut up and move on? I wasn't ready to move on, and maybe that made me petty. Maybe that made me dramatic. But after years of feeling like I always had to shrink myself to keep others comfortable, I decided not this time. Not anymore. So yeah, I'll admit it. After everything, a part of me wanted to get even. Not in a big, dramatic way. Just in the way that says, you don't get to ruin my moment and walk away smiling. A month after the wedding, my husband and I hosted a small gender reveal party. Nothing huge, just our close friends and a few family members. But guess who didn't get an invite? Yep, my sister. She found out about it through a cousin's Instagram story. A cute pic of our "It's a Girl" balloon pop moment. Within minutes, I got a text from her. Wow, I guess I'm not family now. I stared at it for a second, then typed back, didn't want to risk another surprise announcement. Fair, right? She left me on read, but it didn't end there, because I wasn't done. For our baby shower, I decided to have a little fun. Custom cookies, soft pink decor, cozy vibes, and just a few messages tucked in. Some cookies said, we waited our turn. Others had, one day, one celebration. There was even a sign on the gift table that read, one special moment deserves to shine, without sharing the spotlight. And yes, she came. She saw it all. She picked up a cookie, read it, and didn't say a word. Just went quiet. Sat down. No big speech this time. No clinking glass. Nothing. Later, she pulled me aside and asked, was that sign about me? I smiled and said, if the shoe fits. Then I walked away. Now she's telling everyone I'm the one being petty, that I'm making a big deal over nothing, that I'm milking the drama. But the truth is, I didn't ruin her wedding. I didn't steal her announcement. I didn't break a promise or ignore a heartfelt request. She did. So if she's uncomfortable now, if she feels a little sting, good. Because sometimes petty justice is the only justice you get. And hey, our babies are due a week apart. So guess who's going to be posting baby photos loud and proud right as she's checking into the hospital? Not saying I'm planning it, but I'm also not saying that. You know, weddings are supposed to be about love, family, and new beginnings. But for me, mine came with a lesson. Sometimes the people closest to you don't respect your shine until you show them what it feels like to be in the shadows. I didn't want revenge. I wanted respect. I wanted my moment. I wanted to share my joy, just like she did, but with grace, not a hijack. She made her choice. I made mine. And if anyone thinks I'm being too petty, too dramatic, cool, stay on the sidelines, because this is my life, my baby, and my story, not some side stage for someone else to steal the mic. To everyone out there who's had their moment taken, speak up, stand tall, and don't apologize for claiming what's yours. Because when people don't respect boundaries, sometimes you have to draw the line with a bold, pink cookie that says, "We waited our turn." And if you felt that, hit that like button. Subscribe for more real stories. And share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because this is for everyone who knows what it feels like to be overshadowed and still rise.